Bold and the beautiful predictions show Justin Barber's involvement in the ongoing chaos and Thomas Forrester's wedding plans. We should see lots of Steffi, Luna, Finn, and Paris. In addition, we may see the reveal of Poppy Nozawa's fate. The first B&B prediction reveals a dire fate for Steffi, who is in a dangerous situation as she is locked in a cage. And Bold and the beautiful spoilers raise the question of Luna Nozawa and Justin Barber's potential alliance. Could they be partners in crime? The following episodes might also see Finn saving his wife Steffi, adding another layer of intrigue. Another bold spoiler hints at a possible delay in the wedding of Thomas and Paris, possibly till November. Also, the fate of Poppy is expected to be revealed following Luna's killer reveal. The possibility of her leaving town arises, adding to the suspense. These predictions from Belinda at Soap Dirt are always based on official soap opera spoilers and recent episode drama. The sprawling city of Los Angeles shimmered under the midday sun. In the world of high fashion and dramatic relationships, Forrester Creations was once again at the center of everyone's attention. The headquarters bustled with activity, while secrets and ambitions brewed beneath the surface. This was the playground of the Forresters, the Logans, and those who dared to weave their own fates into the fabric of the Forrester family. It had been months since Justin Barber was last seen maneuvering through the corridors of Forrester Creations. Once Bill Spencer's loyal right-hand man, Justin had tasted both power and betrayal. After cutting ties with Bill and working briefly with Ridge Forrester, Justin vanished, leaving everyone to wonder, what was his next move? Now Justin had returned, walking confidently into Forrester Creations as if he had never left. His sharp suit and unflinching gaze captured the attention of everyone in the building. What was Justin's role now, and how would he factor into the ever-twisting tale of the Forrester legacy? Thomas Forrester was in his office, busy sketching designs for the latest Coucher collection, when a knock on the door interrupted his concentration. "Come in," Thomas called, without looking up. The door opened, and in walked Justin Barber, his expression unreadable. Thomas paused, surprised to see him. "Justin," Thomas said, slowly putting down his pencil. "I didn't expect to see you back here. What brings you to Forrester?" Justin's smile was slight, almost imperceptible. "I'm here on business, Thomas. But more importantly, I'm here to make sure certain interests are protected." Thomas raised an eyebrow. "Interests? Whose interests are we talking about?" Justin stepped closer, his posture commanding attention. "Let's just say I've made some moves of my own, and I'm playing a bigger game now. The question is, are you ready to be a part of it?" Thomas frowned, suspicious. He had learned the hard way that nothing in this world came without strings. But there was something about Justin's approach that intrigued him. This wasn't the same man who had served Bill Spencer like a shadow. Justin had evolved, and Thomas wanted to know why. As Justin revealed more of his plan, it became clear that his return wasn't simply about business. He had aligned himself with unseen forces, power players who had an interest in the future of Forrester Creations and its leadership. "I've been approached by people who want to see the Forrester name continue to thrive," Justin explained, his tone measured. "But they also want to ensure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands." Thomas narrowed his eyes. "And by wrong hands, you mean my father, Ridge, or my sister, Steffi? Because if you're implying that..." Justin raised a hand to cut him off. "Not them. I'm talking about outside forces. People who've been circling, waiting for an opportunity to take advantage of the Forrester brand's success. Think about it, Thomas. You've worked hard to regain your place here after all the mistakes you've made. But how long before someone else comes in to try and dismantle everything you've built?" The words hung in the air, and Thomas couldn't deny the truth in them. He had spent years trying to restore his reputation, especially after the chaos surrounding his obsession with Hope Logan. Though he had mended some relationships, there were still many in the industry who doubted his loyalty and his stability. Meanwhile, in another corner of Forrester Creations, Thomas was harboring his own secret. After months of working to prove himself as a reformed man, he had reconnected with an old flame, the beautiful and enigmatic Paris Buckingham. Their relationship had grown in private, away from the prying eyes of the media and their respective families. And now, Thomas was ready to take the next step. With the holiday season approaching, Thomas planned to propose to Paris and begin the next chapter of his life. A chapter that, in his mind, involved a grand wedding worthy of the Forrester name. But this was no ordinary wedding. Thomas had envisioned something truly spectacular, a fusion of Paris' vibrant spirit and the classic Forrester elegance. He planned to host the event at the Forrester mansion, the same place where so many momentous occasions had taken place. His sister Steffi, who had always been protective of him, would be his greatest ally in the wedding planning process. However, not everyone would be as enthusiastic about the union. Hope Logan, though no longer the center of Thomas' world, had her reservations about his relationship with Paris. And then there was Zend, Paris' former love interest and Thomas' cousin. Though Zend had gracefully stepped aside, old feelings tend to resurface at weddings, especially when emotions run high. As Thomas began preparing for his wedding, he couldn't shake the feeling that Justin was positioning himself too close to Forrester Creations. Justin had insisted he was there to protect the family's interests, but what if there was more to the story? One day, as Thomas was leaving the office late at night, he spotted Justin speaking in hushed tones with someone in a dark corner of the parking garage. The man Justin was talking to seemed familiar, tall, dressed in a dark suit, with a commanding presence. Thomas paused, watching from a distance as the conversation grew more intense. He couldn't make out the words, but the body language spoke volumes. Justin wasn't just a corporate ally. He was involved in something much deeper. As the two men parted ways, Thomas stepped back into the shadows, his heart pounding. Who was Justin really working for? And why did it feel like Justin's interest in Forrester Creations was more personal than professional? Despite the lingering questions about Justin's motives, Thomas threw himself into wedding preparations. With Paris by his side, they toured venues, selected caterers, and meticulously planned every detail of their special day. Paris was a breath of fresh air, and her excitement for the wedding was contagious. Her love for fashion made her a natural at planning an event as glamorous as a Forrester wedding. Together, they decided on a classic black and white theme with modern touches, an homage to the elegance of Forrester Creations, but with a twist that reflected their unique relationship. But as the wedding drew nearer, tensions began to rise. Hope Logan, ever the voice of reason, pulled Thomas aside one afternoon to voice her concerns. "Thomas, are you sure you're ready for this?" she asked, her tone gentle but firm. "Marriage is a big commitment, and I just want to make sure you're not rushing into anything." Thomas sighed, understanding Hope's concern but feeling the weight of her words. "Hope, I appreciate your worry, but I've grown. I'm not the same man I was when everything went wrong between us. Paris is different. She understands me, and she doesn't judge me for my past." Hope hesitated, as if debating whether to push further. "I just want you to be happy, Thomas, and if Paris is the one, then I'll support you. But be careful. Sometimes the things we don't see coming are the ones that hurt us the most." The day of the wedding arrived, and it was everything Thomas and Paris had dreamed of. The Forrester mansion was transformed into a stunning venue, with white roses and black silk drapes adorning the grand staircase. The family gathered, dressed in their finest, as the media buzzed outside, eager to capture every moment of the high-profile event. But as the ceremony was about to begin, an unexpected guest arrived, Justin Barber. Justin's presence sent a ripple through the crowd. Though he had no formal ties to the Forrester family, he was a man of influence, and his attendance at the wedding raised eyebrows. Thomas, who had been on edge about Justin's true motives, couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a social visit. As the vows were exchanged, Justin remained at the back of the room, watching with a piercing gaze. Thomas could feel his eyes on him, and it made him uneasy. What was Justin waiting for? Was this all part of a larger plan? Just as the ceremony concluded and the reception began, Justin approached Thomas, a glass of champagne in hand. "Congratulations," Justin said, his voice smooth. "Looks like you've got everything you ever wanted." Thomas narrowed his eyes. "What are you doing here, Justin? I thought you were done playing games." Justin smirked, taking a sip of his drink. "Oh, Thomas, the game is just beginning." As the night wore on, Justin's presence loomed over the festivities. Thomas couldn't enjoy the celebration, his mind racing with questions about what Justin was planning. Finally, he pulled Justin aside, determined to get answers. "What's your angle here? Why are you so interested in my family's business?" Justin's smile faded, and for the first time, his expression turned.